what Biden does, now you need to wear that on your jacket because you put him in to do what he's doing. Same thing with Brother Polite. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Once people been telling you, hey, watch out over there, watch out over there, watch out over there, and y'all blindly pushing forward like, oh, we're going to support, we're going to do this. Okay, well, just know what you're supporting. So when this thing happens, all of you supporters are a part of this. You all supported the smaller things that he got away with until this thing happened. And listen, he's smart enough and slick enough that he might find his way out of this until the next thing and the next thing. Like, the people are the ones that we gotta blame. We can't, consciousness means we gotta be awake. To be awake means that we have to be accountable for what we're doing. We gotta be alert. We're supposed to be the smart folks passing information around. So when we pass the information around, it goes without saying that we're supposed to act on the information. So now everybody has skeletons in their closet, just like the brother just came up and said, I'm not running for it. I got skeletons. I'm like, of course you do. You're coming out of poverty, we all do. But there's a difference between having skeletons in your closet than being the boogeyman. Like this is some other, you a predator that's, so, hey, people got to do self-checking right now. That's what this is about. How many people right now are thinking, man, we got to support this brother against these malicious charges, and we got to really get to the bottom of this, and we got to debunk these, these lying ladies out here. I'm like, wow. So we get ready to turn the community against the 14-year-old that went through this process so that we could still live in a delusional state of thinking. Like, this is the reason why people go from, 15% body fat to 30% body fat to 40% body fat. When they came out with this whole thing about fat people, fat shaming and all these. When I was 260 pounds, the thing that got me to begin to lose weight was looking in the mirror going, oh my God, you're fat. It's disgusting. You're horrible looking. Get your life together. You're getting ready to die out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your life together. I had to shock myself away to move towards action. People are not separating information and action. You gotta get informed so that you can have better action. If you're getting informed but you're not doing anything with information, you're wasting everyone's time and energy. You're wasting your own money. So, people getting into this is not necessary.
This ain't got nothing to do with the package. You weren't properly preparing yourself.
I keep telling people when I tell my story, the biggest, most important part of my story that they miss, when I tell about Amber and how I was able to heal Amber and get Amber together and all that, was that I went to my cabinet to put together Mama Thomas. I went to my cabinet to put together things for her. When the emergency hit, I didn't go online to order things. I already had cabinets full of things.
The Uber is $60.
So these things that people have,
I'm not paying for Uber. You better get on a train.
Now when you don't need them.
Damn, I'm about to drive Uber.
When it hits the fan, you good. Last year, everybody was in a panic frenzy when the thing hit everybody. Oh my God, what we gonna do? Hurry up and send me the whoa. I'm not getting ready to hurry up and send you nothing. You're gonna be right in line with everybody else. Your order gonna come up when it come up.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So you are a naturalist, an herbalist, a fitness trainer, like all of that into who you are, and your teeth are absolutely amazing. They're pearly white. What are you using?
An expensive accent.
So you are currently selling ounces and pounds, but not the ounces and pounds people think of. You are now selling sea moss and making a killing off of this. Please tell us, like, what is sea moss? Why is it important? Why is it a new phase, craze? Where did it come from? How do we get it? And do you need some affiliates?
Always that. But no, so the whole sea moss thing, I've been selling, I've been using, first of all, I've been going to sea moss since I was like a little kid. My mom had Jamaican boyfriend named Stretch. Him and his brother E used to be running wild in my neighborhood up in the Bronx. And they used to have like a whole bunch of rosters in my crib every day. And that's what they used to make in the kitchen, cook up, you know what I'm saying? So they used to make different types of sea mosses and different types of greens, like all kind of vegan and vegetarian stuff, but they didn't call it vegan and vegetarian. Those was words that came into my, later on. So that was like my first awareness of it. Now, the pop culture, so when I eventually started making compounds and herbs and all that, it's listed in the ingredients in like 4 or 5 different formulas that I have as a part of what I do, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even more than that, probably about 10. But it wasn't like a thing for sea moss. I didn't start getting loud and really speaking to sea moss specifically until so many goofy people started to mess up the sea moss industry. So because sea moss had got so popular, you had so many fly-by-night people coming out of nowhere marketing sea moss. So I had started to see sea moss advertising.
Y'all like The View, or you want to see Minister Enqi?
Like people was online, like, yo, yeah, I got the sea moss for the low, and yo, I got this Dr. Savvy approved Conscious Crispus. And I'm looking on the videos, I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? That ain't Conscious Crispus? And so I started digging in, I'm like, wait a minute, these guys don't even know what they're selling. So you got guys that selling gracilaria, calling it Conscious Crispus, guys that have...
Hold on, you don't get to just say these words and move on. Educate us, teach us, wake us up a little bit.
Okay, sorry, yeah, just stop me wherever I need to be stopped. So, the first thing is, sea moss, nutritional sea moss is not actually moss. So, the mosses that we use nutritionally, which are gracilaria, these are the popular ones anyway. You got guso. Well, actually, guso is not popular. Guso is used like as a face, but it's an algae. You got guso, you got gracilaria, you got cotton, you got bladderwrack, and you got Chondrus crispus. And then you got like a couple of different fake Chondrus crispuses. But these are all algae. So that's the first thing. These are all algae. So that's the first little caveat to the studying and figuring out what it is that we're doing. Sea moss and Irish moss are the 2 popular names that they use out there to sell these under. Sea moss refers to your Caribbean or your warm water algae. Irish moss refers to your bladderwrack, your Chondrus crispus. Those are your cold water algae because they come from a northern climate. When Ireland didn't have no food, they ate the stuff that washed up on the beach. So that's where the name Irish moss came from, because this was an algae that just washed up on the shores of Ireland in the towns and the tons. So now, not knowing really anything about it, a lot of these goofy guys, well, I'm going to say somebody was an ingenious scam artist. They came up with the term called golden sea moss. So this ingenious scam artist found a way to make the dead sea moss actually the target of nutritional holistic healers or people that's trying to become, get it back. So when you get yellow or golden sea moss, you already got scammed. Because the sea moss that they're telling you about doesn't grow like that in its natural habitat. You get Chondrus crispus, it's purple almost to the point where you can't even, it's so red, it's so dark purple, it looks like brick. It looks like bricks. That's the color it looks like. When you get bladderwrack, it's brown.
Do you have any of these sea mosses that we can see? Like when we go and pay these bills for commercial break, you can go and grab. He said he about to go grab some right now. Why is it so expensive? So I know here in Massachusetts and Boston, we have a couple people that do like sea moss drinks, like with passion fruit and.
Hold on. That's what they sell in their estate. They frauded. This is one of the reasons why people start selling me right now. All them people selling all them products is fraud. They all frauding people right now. That's all fake. That's not real. I mean, some of it is real, but they calling it by different names, and it's different. Like, it's not being marketed properly because people don't know what they got. So this is some gracilaria. This is some golden.
Hold on, you just said golden was fake because that's not how it grows in a natural habitat.
But I got it. I got it. I can't discuss things if I don't have them to test and play with and show people the difference. And so I go into detail to make sure that people, you know, like when they leave away from my page, they inform. They know the difference between
what's real. So let's say, for instance, I just ordered some sea moss. I'm gonna go pick it up later on today. How do I know what I got is real? Because the way that it's being sold here in Boston is like it's in mason jars, already cooked up, already.
I went crazy on them folks. A lot of them is selling people poisonous sea moss. So it even gets to a space where it becomes dangerous. So first thing you got to understand about the sea moss is the industrial industry, the big boys. All right, so first things first, this is gracilaria.
Hold on, I'm gonna make you big so we can see it big.
Right here.
And it looks mad purple, and it just looked like tumbleweed.
Right, so this is gracilaria. This is the natural color of gracilaria. Now, here's your sea moss. Here is the color that it comes out of the water. Here's the color that they sell it to people in the package.
Hold on. I need all of that all over again. I need all three of them.
Here's the color that the sea moss comes out the water.
Hold on, keep it in front of the camera so we can get all the details so we can see it.
Right, that's the one that come out the water, but somehow this is what comes to your house in the package.
Yeah. So which one is the one?
The fake yellow one's the fake one?
Golden. So in your mind, you think that this has the same level of nutrients as this. And it does not. Because all of the nutrients inside sea moss is attached to the pigment. And the pigment is the color. The color tells you the rate of photosynthesis. It tells you the level of alkalinity. Like, simple. If you take a regular alkalinity test, it goes through these colors. And your most alkaline is when you get to the purple. That's when you let me know it's over an 8.9, and that's about electron donation. How many electrons it has to donate. That all is tied to the type of light that it absorbs and the rate of photosynthesis. So you can see that as it dies, the rate of photosynthesis obviously slows down, the pigment fades out, and so you lose the nutrients.
Mm-hmm. So the purple one, really quickly, so the purple one that we get from you, and the yellow one we get from everybody else, when we get this purple one,
I'll show you this, because this is what I'm focusing in on. This is Chondrus crispus. This is what Dr. Sabi was teaching about. This is Chondrus crispus. Chondrus crispus doesn't even look like these. See, these look wiry and like spaghetti noodles. Chondrus crispus looks like little tree branches.
So hold on, let me ask you a dumb question, and it feels dumb, but I feel like a lot of people, when I go to the beach and all that come up to the shore, can I eat any of that? Like, can I just go to the beach and get some?
It's already dying. So that's the thing about getting the yellow. The reason that it's yellow is because the sun bleaches it. When it lands on the shore, it's already dying. When you see it floating in the water, it's already dying because the moss needs to be attached to rocks somewhere.
So the ones that attach to the rocks, can I eat that one?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can grab that. And what you're looking for when you find it, you want to find a lot of oysters wherever you find your moss at. So you really got to go out into the ocean and go into the ocean water to harvest your sea moss. Now, the crazy thing about that is this. I had to raise money, a lot of money, to really put this whole thing just started one thing after another by accident. So I started finding out that people was buying fake sea moss from Amazon to cut real sea moss. So I started raising hell about that. I'm like, yo, nobody knows what y'all doing. This is crazy. I'm not taking part in this shit. I'm about to blow y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to go tree on y'all. So when I started going in, explaining to people the difference between the fake and the real sea moss, people was like, well, where can we get the real sea moss? I was like, I don't know. I'm just telling you so you know that. And they was like, yeah, but you gotta sell something because nobody got it. So then I started raising money once I found out what the hustle was, that like these guys, you got a lot of guys in the Caribbean, they doing this farming thing where they taking bottles out the garbage can, strings out the garbage can, and they literally growing sea moss on strings from the garbage can. They got people smoking Newports, they got crackheads, winos dealing with your sea moss. They put it in warehouses where rats and squirrels and dogs pee on the shit, and like it's so crazy. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna deal with this. I need money. So I'm like, I told people, look, if y'all really want me to do this sea moss thing, what we need to do is be able to find somebody as a supplier that we could trust. We could go out there, we could inspect where they're getting it, how they're getting it, everything. I need to go to the source. So I really got on some Frank Lucas shit with it. And when I went out into the ocean,
And you got scuba gear? You was out there with your scuba gear?
I was out there with my gear on. It's not scuba gear, but it's definitely a certain type of clothes you gotta wear. I even had my babies with me. Them joints is like 20 pounds, like they like 15 pounds. You gotta wear a suit to go out into the ocean. But what I found out, because I wound up going to I was able to, shout out to Jay, shout out to Rod, those are my partners. Those are the guys that really showed me everything that's like opened my eyes. In the last 100 years, there has never, ever, ever been a holistic healer to ever go into the ocean and get the actual algae from its environment. And I know because I was privileged to go to the Irish Moss Museum. I went to speak to the families with Rod and Jay, the families. They left the records. I was able to read the records and see who's actually been mossing. Like, this is an industry. Who's actually been in the ocean? So in the last 100 years, there's only been 3 black guys that ever go into the ocean to get algae, ever.
Do you know their name? What's their names?
Jay, Rodney, and Enqi.
Oh, so your partner, y'all in history now.
Correct. And Jay and Rodney took me out there, but it's the white guys that been running the industry all this time that put them two on, and they took me out there. And so once I've seen all that, a lot more stuff started to come into play. So one of the things that Jay told me, he's like, yo, if you really want to blow this thing wide open, this whole sea moss scam, you need to get you a grinder and start grinding down your own sea moss so you can sell powder. I'm like, this is getting too messy. I don't want to keep selling sea moss stink. I got a whole room in my house full with sea moss. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to keep getting deeper and deeper into sea moss. You know what I'm saying? But, so I get the grinder, and immediately, let me see if I can share my, let me share a page with y'all, because I got a post.
You see it on the bottom left hand, the bottom where it say share. You can share your screen.
All right, good. So let me show you this. Because so this is my Instagram page, people. If y'all want to come subscribe, Dr. Enqi right here. This is my Instagram. Not deep. I don't got like underscores and crazy stuff. It's just my name, right? But this is what I had did. This was the very first day that I grinded down. The very first day I grinded down my own sea moss. This is what and I grinded it down on camera live so that people could see me do it. Now, I was doing that, to be honest, because I had just got the grinder. So I thought the grinder was a dope machine. So I was doing like, as I never did like an unboxing kind of video. So I'm like, okay, I got this grinder. I'm about to open this shit up and videotape me using it. So when I grinded the Conjure Crispus down, the Irish moss, it was like a handful of Conjure Crispus with little few pieces of bladder wax in there. I grind it down, and you see the color of what I grinded down, all the way on the left where it says Blue Magic. Immediately, I got a problem because I've been buying sea moss powder my whole life, and it always looked like one of the two right there. In fact, I went to my cabinet, and that's where I got those two from. Those are two sea mosses that you can order online, one of which is Star West Botanicals, the other which is a popular person's version of Dr. Sabi's mixture, where they sell you like the sea moss powder mixed with the bladderwrack. I ain't gonna say who the person is, but one of them is just regular sea moss, the other one is a mixture with Dr. Sabi formula. And I said to myself, yo, this is a scam. We done been scammed out of probably hundreds of millions of dollars. It's impossible for either one of these to be Conjur's Crispus because I just grinded it down in front y'all live, and you see what the color looks like. So that means this tan looking grayish powder right here is clearly one of two things. Either this is not Conjur's Crispus at all, or somebody grinded down some Conjur's Crispus and stepped on it 1,000 times with who knows whatever is in it. So but whatever the case is, I know that the stuff we've been buying all these years is clearly not Conjur's Crispus, because if it was, it would look like what's on the left. And that's Conjur's Crispus, and I grinded it down on camera live in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Then it got crazier because the way that I processed it from the time that we pulled it out of the ocean, when I put mine in water, let me see if I can pull it up and let people see. When I put mine in the water, hold on. When I put mine in water, the colors changed, so I realized the antioxidant level was even way different.
Again, you can't just be saying words, Enqi. You got to break it down for us. Say, what are you saying, oxidization? Like, come on, scientist.
Well, look right there. So you can see me grinding it down. This is me grinding it down. And then I'm going to pull it out. Now, the antioxidants, right? When people talk about the benefits of sea moss, most of the benefits of sea moss comes from the antioxidants or from the gel or the sulfated polysaccharides that's inside the algae. That's the favorite part of people. Like, we gonna turn this into gel. Now, earlier when I was saying people selling people poison in sea moss, carrageenan, and you could look this up for your people at home, carrageenan will cause you to get problems in your intestine, and it could potentially contribute to tumors or cancer if you don't add heat to it. Heat is what breaks down the carrageenans and turns them into gel for you the right way. You got a lot of people that's promoting that you're supposed to have sea moss raw. You're not supposed to have sea moss raw because the carrageenan is poisonous that way. You're not supposed to have sea moss raw, especially when these goofy guys, 9 out of 10 of them, is soaking tap water into the sea moss. They tell you all the time, let your sea moss soak overnight. These goofy guys, if they understood what the algae does, the algae swells up because it absorbs the water. So if you put in tap water that's loaded with pharmaceutical drugs and mosquito larvae and all kinds of other stuff that's in tap water, well, when you let that soak into the sea moss overnight, you got poisonous sea moss right there. The carrageenan is not cooked, and you done put all the chemicals from the tap water into the sea moss. So people selling that as a gel, that's like a poisonous gel right there. So that's not, so anyway, so to get to the antioxidants, the color determines the antioxidant level. The darker the color is, the richer the color is, the higher the antioxidant level. No. Let the screen show the, because it's going to get to the part where, like, this is just showing me live grinding it down, and I'm going to do a comparison between what I grinded down and what I got online from other people. And the crazy thing is about this is everybody that watches this or hears this, they know that they've been taken advantage of too, because they know the color of the Irish moss / Conjur's Crispus powder that they've been buying. And you had to have, and it's like, we all had cognitive dissonance. That's the same cognitive dissonance that's allowing us to deal with these other situations and not recognize what's in front of us. Why would we have a purple plant or a brown plant and powderize it, and then it's a tan powder. Like, that don't even make sense. A purple algae should make purple powder. A brown algae should make brown powder. A green algae should make green powder.
So I just really quickly, I do want to, I want to briefly discuss, like, I'm thinking about sea moss tings here in Boston. I'm thinking about sea moss and more. Like, I'm thinking about all of the companies here in Boston and whether or not they know what they're engaged in. As far as, like, you said that at some point, like what you've been purchasing this whole time from these two individuals, one famous, you're not going to say their name, but in the other one, so I want to be clear that if you do not have a purple sea moss, or if you do not have a deep colored sea moss powder, you're not necessarily being taken advantage of, but the person may not have proper knowledge.
Definitely being taken advantage of. So you try to put a caveat in there for the people know. Now, I will say that it may not be on purpose, because the person selling it to you may not know any better. So I agree with you in that part. You're right there. The person that you're getting it from may not maliciously be saying, I'm getting ready to take this advantage.
But we are definitely being scammed. If your sea moss ain't purple, you being scammed. And so, hold on, but Dr. Enqi, you said that the white one is like when it's dead. Like, so you go into the ocean, you and your people go to the ocean, you come out, and you have this fresh, like it's a difference between going to the store and getting, going to a farmer's market with a farmer who just cut the broccoli and having broccoli that way, versus going to the supermarket and getting broccoli that way, versus in a can. So
Crazier, because once I started to, when I didn't know any better, like everybody else, which was maybe, and when I say didn't know any better, I still knew volumes more about sea moss than the average person. But I didn't know about the industrial side. See, that's the thing that we separated our minds. We think because we learn about the nutrients, that we learn about the process of harvesting, growing it, storing it, and all those things. So I didn't know anything about what they were doing. So one of the craziest, most basic things that I had a problem with after I started learning was how many people's hands, like this is something you would never think of. How many people's hands is on your sea moss before it goes in your blender? How many people's hands is on your sea moss? And then, what type of hands are those? Now, for everybody, that's not an issue. But I'm one of those people that if I go to your vegan restaurant, I'm going to ask the people you have in the back making my food. I'm getting ready to ask them if they vegan. I don't want to go to the back of your vegan restaurant and see that your chef is sitting in the back with a loose Newport and a can of Mad Dog 2020, and this is the guy you got preparing my vegan meal. So when I find out that there's like 50 hands that's touching this sea moss, that the sea moss is not coming out of the ocean. What they're doing is finding little places where the sea moss washes up, and they paying crackheads to hop out with garbage bags. They look like they're doing community service on side the highway. They're paying crackheads to hop out with garbage bags and just bag up the sea moss that's laying on side the road. This is why they made the idea that golden sea moss is a good thing. Like, there is no nutritional golden sea moss. There's no nutritional yellow sea moss. None of them grow yellow. When they get to the yellow, they've already started the process of dying. And one of the things that I highlight about mine is that mine was so well taken care of that we still have our blue pigment intact. And the blue pigment is the most volatile out of all of the pigments in Contrast crispers. So it's the first one to be destroyed by sunlight. It's the first one to be destroyed by air. It's not just the sunlight, it's the air that starts to oxidize your algae. Remember, algae is underwater. They underwater, so you can't even see them with the naked eye. So you gotta go underwater to find the habitat. You gotta go underwater to see how many oysters clustered around each group of algae. Because the amount of oysters that's clustered around the algae determines how clean that water is that the algae growing. Because the oysters is not gonna live in the poison, chemical, soup type of water. And the oysters is the ones that filters the water so that it can be clean for the algae to grow.
Okay, so pause, 5 seconds. So my mother lives in Plymouth, right? And there's mad rocks, like big ass boulders. And what you're describing is basically is like everything that I grew up on, right? And so now I'm like, yo, how tell me how to go to the ocean and go get this and eat it. Like, how do I go if I find it? I go to Jamaica, just came back from Jamaica. I go back to. It's crazy because all Jamaicans drink is Irish moss.
They bugging. They're drinking sea moss. So sea moss grows abundantly down there. Your gracilaria, your cotton, that is the type of stuff that grows in the warm water. Irish moss grows in the cold water. That's the Atlantic Ocean. So that's North America, Ireland, Greenland, Europe. That's the algae that grows in those climates.
Okay. All right. So I'm in Ireland. I'm on the beach. And there's a rock, a whole bunch of rocks, whole bunch of oysters. I didn't even know them things were oysters. I know what you're talking like. I didn't know they were oysters. Yeah, little black things. Yeah. And I take it out of the water, which is actually, so it's actually like entangled in with the oysters. It's like cemented to the damn rock. Once you do take it off, you do get it loose. What do you do with it then?
Put it right in your mouth. No, at that point, you take it to the house and you can start to do what you want to do with it.
What do I do as far as heat is concerned? Because you told me that I have to do something with heat.
Yes. So we want to boil it. If you're going to use it for gel, right? Depends on what you're going to use it for, right? So if you're going to powder it, then you want to keep it dry, obviously, or capsule it. But if you're going to make gel out of it, you want to cook it. The different algae, you got to cook them different. Cotton is like the most affordable. You could take a pinch of cotton and make like 50 ounces of gel.
Damn.
Chondrus crispus is not the same way. Chondrus crispus, you have to have almost the same amount of chondrus crispus as water. And you have to cook it till it's flank and slimy, and then you drop that whole thing in the blender. The cotton, you actually create the gel in the pot when you cook it. So it's just a different, you got to cook the algae a little bit different.
So first of all, I need to know what I even got my hands on. So I'm going to take a picture, send it to you, and then we're going to work through it that way. So if seriously.
Testicles on it. So